Hey guys, welcome back to Wise Kracks. We have found someone that has not been findable for the last. I think you've been on one of the last 5 shows, something like that.
Is it
Jon
that bad?
Orlando, yeah,
Man,
Jon
yeah.
Orlando. We are we found you though, so that's the
Bill,
main
Bill,
thing.
do I have any black and blue? I feel like life has been beating me up, and am I bruised or am I all
No,
right? No?
yeah.
Yeah. Life's
Let
been
me
beating
ask
me
you
up.
though. Most
Go.
important thing. I seen our boy that you were in the hospital with him. I seen him on a couple different little videos that he had out there. I actually liked it. Made me feel good. I responded to him. He's fighting. He's a fighter, and
He is.
Matt Kelly, right? Is that his last name?
Yes.
Kelly? Matt.
Yep. Matt Kelly.
He
He's
is a
fighting,
fighter.
Bill. He
He's a
is, man.
fighter. He's got a
Diagnosed
couple
with
the stage 4 colon cancer, and then what
Yep.
else? Now he has a. Does he have
They
another
decided to throw leukemia at him too.
leukemia?
Let's just throw that on.
Leukemia.
Leukemia. It's crazy, but he's fighting like there's no tomorrow, and his birthday is this coming Sunday. And this Sunday, pop by his house. We're gonna be over there at 2 o'clock. Yeah,
Really?
come by. He'd love to see you if you're in town or
cool.
something. You know. But yeah, he's fighting, and that's all you can do, right? Is fight and hope for the best and stay
I
positive.
gotta tell you, how old is he, John?
He's gonna be
Younger than us?
54, I believe. He'll be 54, I believe, on Sunday. This is one of the nicest guys in the world.
Seen him, such a nice guy. Big,
so nice.
He looks like a football player to me when I see him first. He's a big guy. What's he about, 6'3"? I mean, he's a big guy.
Yeah, maybe more.
Maybe even more.
Cameraman for the Golden Knights, for the Raiders, for the UFC. He shoots all those events, boxing events, College World Series. Just what a life! And
just a nice guy.
He's not ready to go out the door yet. So hopefully he can fight through this and stick around a little longer. You know,
buddy of mine, Chris Andrews, that runs the South Point Sportsbook. His son just died, and he's taking it real bad, like he should be. You know, my mom always said, "You're not supposed to live your kids." So, boy, I feel for these people, and I really felt for Matt. I put some messages on Facebook. I'm not a Facebook guy normally, but I put some messages.
Yeah,
I went to Facebook purposely, just knowing that he's on Facebook a lot. I know he's on Facebook.
That's nice of you, Bill.
Nah, that doesn't do nothing. I just no, I'd be happy to stop by, but that's an amazing thing that you're saying to stop by, because I would do that. I didn't know I would be invited to do that.
Jack Eichel from the Golden Knights came by the hospital 2 weeks ago and spent a couple hours with Matt. How amazing is that?
How amazing. It's so nice.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah.
So our full support goes out to him. And
100%.
Yeah, I really'd like to see him, to be honest with you. It's nice of you to say that. A couple of
Would be great.
After the show.
Yeah, for sure.
I got a couple of different things before we bring Randy on. Our producer Robert just said something. He's so right. These sportsbook bonuses that they give, they're not what they used to be. There used to be a lot more. All these big sites used to give a lot more in the way of, like, if you were a player and your account was going low, they email you something. Or he's right. These bonuses are getting tighter and tighter with the sports books. So now they give like a same game parlay boost or something, but no real free bets or matches unless you're depositing for a new account. So it's just so different than what it was back in the day. And, but yet their ad spend might be bigger than ever, because there are all these celebrities and athletes, and that's gotten actually bigger than what it was. So have you noticed this? I feel like a lot of the smaller guys have gone out of business. Like, there were a lot of sites that you used to talk about back in the WSN days that are not even, like Maxim. Remember Maxim Bet? Yeah,
gone.
Yeah, there was
there's so many.
It was like 27 sites. They're down to about 15. You're absolutely
right.
And I'm counting all the state, like big states like New Jersey and New York and stuff. You're absolutely right.
It's just that competitive, huh?
Yeah, it really is. It's that competitive. Let me send Randy over the link. Randy's been holding his own on the show. He's got a winning record since he's been giving out picks. I mean, he should. That's what he does basically. So Let's see some other subjects before I got Randy on. I just wrote down a couple subjects. So Robert said this too. There's a college or pro game on almost every night for the next 30 days.
Really?
On TV. And a lot of them are garbage teams, but I don't care who says what. That's to induce the public to bet more. You put one standing solo island game on TV, and it just makes people bet more. It's sponsored by
because
so many companies.
Otherwise, those games get lost in the sea of games, right?
It's amazing. These companies are making more than ever. And I know the last couple of weeks maybe they didn't make money one weekend or something, but come on, they've won more money in the first 3-4 weeks than they've ever seen in their lives in that time period. So there's going to be no collection buckets for any of these. I want to know this: when you go out to dinner, John, when you go out with friends to dinner, like 4 guys, there's 4 of you, how do you determine who pays? Guys from that I grew up with, there's a new thing now with all these poker players and these young kids, and they use the credit card roulette, which we talked about with the credit card. You put all your credit cards in, and the waiter picks up one of the cards. I still think the guy would, if you're sitting down with a guy, it's worth millions and millions of dollars. He's supposed to pay for everybody.
It's the unwritten rule.
That's what I feel. I still feel that way. I got at the dinner.
Or if you invite the person, then you should pay, right?
Man, I swear I was invited to a couple lunches in the past few weeks. I was invited, and I was actually, the G2E was here. I was invited out for a few meals to try, and they were, picking my brain. I wasn't getting paid anything, and I love to pay, but I figure when I'm invited, you're going to pick my brain. There was a situation where I just waited 2 hours and just grabbed the check and said, I got to get out of here. Let me just pay. I guess these guys aren't paying, and literally they both had a giant. It was three of them. They had a giant company. These guys picked my brain with so many different things, and I just, it was $125 breakfast. It wasn't a lot. I just picked. I said, you know what? I'm just going to pay the bill. And I guess I have to. You're just going to have to pay. I mean, and then
did they say "Oh, Bill, you didn't have to do that"?
Oh,
you're like,
no,
I did have to do it.
No, they actually said. They actually said, "Oh no, thank you." Yeah. Wow. So last night I pulled a move on the guys I was with. I used a room key instead of a credit card. Because one of the guys I was with dinner with, these were tens of millions. I used a room key, and I put it in with with their credit cards, and of course the lady picked one of their credit cards, the heavier object, But one of the guys got that. Yeah, one of the guys, he's guy's worth probably 30-40 million, and I don't know the bills. Again, another bill was like $150 for 3 of us. It wasn't. No one drinks. So it wasn't expensive. I was just raised different. Anyway, and then friends of mine, I like the guys. I'm not saying that, but people have different kind of spending habits, and it's just situational though. And I have to try to get the edge now. If I feel something's going on, I'm going to give them a little tiny piece of paper. A little thin room key instead of a credit card with the raised numbers and digits. It worked last night. I'm like 1 for 40, 1 for like 25. I did this 25 times. I had to pay it once.
I love it.
There's only little things here. Can we bring Randy in, Robert?
Randy's on his way.
All right, on his way. You want to talk about the Dodgers real quick before Randy gets in? We'll talk about how the Dodgers are going to win the World Series, or no? Do you not acknowledge that yet? Do you think the Mets are going to beat them?
You had a good shot.
I had the Royals. City. I know.
That's over.
So
it's
sad.
Over.
Bill, did I mess that up? Could I have hedged? Should I have started hedging that or something? My plan was to hedge if they advance. I could have.
You could have hedged against the Yanks. Yeah, sure. I'm thinking you could have hedged there, but hey, you had a team that was a long shot team in the playoffs, so sure you could have hedged a little bit. So Randy, you ever get one of these messages where you're betting. I'm sure you've got these already. We should really give this to Robert just to put up here. This is a tweet. Any wager placed with the help of a robot will not be honored. The next line says, "We do not honor Steam plays." Do you see that, Randy? I'm sure you had these kind of things in the past. And listen, it's something when I get a message that says, "We will not honor sharp plays." You can't even play with that kind of a book, because I'll tell you right now, anything can be deemed Steam, a bot, IT. They could say anything. They could just lie. They could take a total shot at you. I'm sure you've had situations before where you've had these type of things that, the bookmakers. First of all, the problem is any swinging dick could be a bookmaker now. You go to any poker room, you have a 25-year-old kid. If they want to say they're a bookmaker, they can pay one of these PPH sites $5, 5 little grocery dollars per account per week, and call themselves a bookmaker. And then after they lose, they can just turn off the account, and you never find them again. You try to call the number that is on the site, and they'll say, "Hey, we just write business for people. We don't know who the bookmakers are. They just send us money, and we open up accounts." That's the problem too with a lot of things. There's a lot of people that are booking sports that are, young kids and kids that think that, you can't have losing weeks like the last 2 weeks for some of the bookmakers. But do you agree? I mean, if this is what's going on, but it's so different. There was honor among bookmakers, 25 years ago, 20 years ago. I'll even go up to 15 years ago. If I had the money I was owed by bookmakers and different people that I was playing with, partners and stuff, I might not even have this podcast. I might not even be betting anymore. That's how much money it goes into the sick, life-changing telephone numbers. Do you kind of agree, Randy?
Yeah, just be careful out there, people, who you get involved with. Make sure you have a good referral. Make sure you have a solid person. Don't just start betting with anybody you meet in a sports book. Years ago, I even met a guy in a circus sports book. He was trying to give people accounts. We're sitting in like the VIP area. "You want an account?" I'm like, you can't trust a guy like that trying to give accounts in the sports book, especially when he's at Circa, or something like that. Oh, God.
I get people on Twitter. You probably get the DMs on Twitter. I get DMs on Twitter. People, "Hey, Crack, do you need a runner?" No, I don't need a runner, because A, a runner is illegal. B, who the F are you? You want me to trust you? The only way I would ever bet for someone is if they post their money with me. I need you to post the winning. See how we win. We're going to win. You want to play in one of these sports books? You want to beard in one of the books that throw people out or limit them to a penny? We're going to win. So I need my profit up front. You know who Bill Krackomberger is. Bill Krackomberger doesn't know who you are. So for the future people that want to DM, that's the deal. I don't even do that. I'm not going to even do it, because there's so many rules across state lines. There's a lot of things that you don't want to violate any rules being in Nevada. And when I'm over on the East Coast or something, it's a different story. But it's just amazing that people that want to. First of all, you don't even really need runners. You can just have apps. You have plenty of apps to play in, and you're playing them. I'm allowed to play them. Superbook, the Win, of course, Circa, and South Point. I have 6 outs that are fully funded that I can play in. I really don't need any runners per se. Of course, I'd love to be banging DraftKings on some of their numbers, and the little smaller sports books all over the place. And I say smaller, the ones that aren't represented here. But Bill, there's a lot of
You bring up a good point for the casual bettor that I don't think people realize. Let's say you live in Vegas, you're just a casual person here in Vegas, and you got friends in LA, and it's Super Bowl, and those friends contact you and go, "Do me a favor, can you put 500 on the Chiefs for me?" And because you live here in Vegas, and they Venmo you $500, and you go place that bet. You're technically making an illegal bet at that point.
You broke many laws.
Right.
Many, not just one. Not just one. Not just over state lines.
Yep.
Use the banking institution, Venmo, to pay.
Wire fraud.
These kids think they can pay bookmakers back and forth with Venmo and PayPal. Highly illegal. Highly illegal.
Right.
but then again, I got to be blunt. I don't know what constitutes any government officials getting involved, busting people's balls over betting.
Right.
And there's so much stuff going on in the country. We just had one of the biggest betting conventions in the world here in Vegas. I mean, I don't really think they're looking at that kind of stuff. But
technically,
if they wanted to make an example of someone, technically,
right.
I know someone that cost them over $100,000 in legal fees just because he was talking sports betting over state lines. By the way, he was in Nevada, over state lines. Now, that was about 6 years ago. But still, I think now with all these big companies here, I don't even know what they're looking. Listen, there's so many different things that money laundering is anything they want it to be. Anything they can, but yeah, technically, if you're putting a bet in for someone over state lines, and how many times does Super Bowl you mentioned? How many just females? Everyone calls you up. Hey, I live in California. Can you make me a bet? Perfect example.
Right.
I live here. I live there. Can you make me a bet or something? And, or beginning of the football season. Hey, you're out in Vegas. Can you? I mean, the best bet, the best odds on the New York Giants to win the Super Bowl, the Chicago Bears. You think it's harmless? And we've had on gaming attorney Nelson Rose, who didn't want to come right out and say these things, but technically that stuff's illegal. Yeah, it's hard to believe. It really is hard to believe. So it's a very good point. This morning I had. Go ahead, Randy. No, please.
These legal books are now taking, or you can deposit and withdraw through Venmo and PayPal now. So that's a better sign for that topic anyway. So
I didn't know that. I didn't know you could deposit on a legal book with Venmo. I did not know that. So that's interesting. And back in the old days, Randy, in the mid '90s and late '90s, even early 2000s. The companies that were taking deposits like that, credit card and stuff, when you finally had one of these payment solutions that would take your deposit, they would pick up all the fees. Now, I don't know if the sports books are doing that, but they would pick up all the fees. If they're not picking up the fees and you're depositing with them, or at least giving you a bonus, a percentage of bonus on I wouldn't play with that sports book. So, they have to, or at least giving you a good sign-up bonus or something. Anyway. I was with someone today at lunch, and he showed me his app, his one app. He had Caesars, and he showed me his. Matter of fact, I think I took a video of it. I don't really want to embarrass him. Let me think how I want to do this. I took a video of his app. Yeah, let me see if I can just do this without showing let me make sure I'm not showing nothing. Like he showed me like this. This is lunch today. He showed me all these parlays he's been hitting. He goes, man, I'm hitting these parlays left. This one was $50 to win $12.25 that he won. And then there's another one here this one's pending. He showed me like 6 parlays that he hit, like 3 teams and up to 6 teams. It's funny. He makes so many of these that I think he thinks he wins. And he's around me. We talk almost every single week. He doesn't use anything I give him. He uses his own stuff. He's a very wealthy guy. It's hard for a lot of these people. I understand, though. You want to be the one that, you know what I mean? You want to be the one that, and I was that guy, I guess, back in the late 80s, early 90s. Used to play parlay cards. I wouldn't listen to anyone else. But I'll listen to anyone that wins. I'll listen to them and take that into consideration. But it's the tough business we're in. Randy, you've given out a good amount of winners on this right here in this space. And it's the loser they'll come after you for. Loser, they'll put loser right on Twitter. But the winners, you crickets. And it's the reason why it's real tough to put out any kind of games to people. It's a tough thing to do. Instead of them just using it and picking and choosing what they want, maybe it matches with them. No, they, under anonymity, they're all tough guys. Not all of them, but there's a percentage of them that are tough guys. So going back to what I'm saying, my buddy this morning showed me all the winners. And I said, do you have a couple? By the way, it's another guy. It's worth a stupid amount of money. But I'm happy they're betting $50 on parlays though, because you can bet 5,000 on parlays. So he said, he's like, yeah, I got this, that, this. He's like, oh, what do you want, man? Maybe I said like Mets first 5 or something. He's like, Mets first 5. He said, okay. And he looked, the juice on the app was minus 125 on one side, minus 105 on the other side. I'm like, no, cannot bet that. It's too much. 30-cent juice is just too much. And I said, minus 115 or less on this. And I said, actually, I lead like 106. So minus 125, no way. And he's like, I was like, do you have this app? Because I noticed there was minus 110 at some other apps that. Because I don't have. I said, well, who else you have? Because I don't have any. He has one app. So even though he's got a couple thousand in his account, if you have a couple thousand in your account, you should damn well have many apps funded with like $600, $700 in each. I just can't believe that someone would have all that money in an app. Like, that's a lot of money, but if you're betting $50, it's a lot of money, and you put all your eggs in one basket, you're missing out on half points. You're missing out on some certain bonus offers or maybe nightly offers. I don't know. We're just talking about they cut down so much, but there's still some of them out there. I just can't believe it. It's too much work. Too much work to do that. I guess I look at things so different than other sports bettors, I guess. I look at things like this is war. This is war. This is global thermonuclear war. I want to destroy them. Half a point, that means everything, especially when these games land. Even there has been games landing every weekend, but I just think of the big primetime Thursday night game when Dallas beat the Giants by 5, and there was 4.5 an hour earlier. There was 5.5 and 6, and then there was 5s. Like, if he had only the one app, they had 5.5. He win. He laid 5.5. I mean, like how don't you have more apps than
Baltimore, Washington last week?
Baltimore, Washington. Yeah. Minus 6.5, minus 6 at game time. There was +7, minus 15. So yeah, Baltimore, Washington. Every one of these games, they matter. Every one of these half points. So anyway, Randy, what do you got going on? We need some winners, buddy.
Yeah, hopefully we bounce back a little bit. It was public week last week.
It was every sharp guy lost.
Sportsbooks took a big hit, and so did some of the bettors. So not a good one. This week I got three pretty solid plays here. I got Miami. I took +4 opener. Still okay to play 3.5. There might be some just +3+ monies, which is starting to get a little closer. Of course, the Dolphins are off a bye, and they get a lot of their players back. And this coach gets more familiarity with the quarterback. They're the backup quarterback, Huntley. So hopefully they have better offensive effort. And Indianapolis is a team in between division games. We call that a sandwich spot in our business. Bill knows what that is. They played a division game last week, and they played division game the week following. So that's one I always look for. In fact, this is one of my play ahead spots. And Indianapolis, for some reason, is going to go back to the young quarterback Richardson and bench Joe Flacco, who I think is just a great quarterback, should be playing on some team. So getting +4 here with Miami, or 3.5, I suppose 3.5 is probably consensus now, is a pretty good play in my opinion.
Okay, cool. Now, do you have 2 more straight plays, or do you have like teasers? What do you have?
I have 2 more straight plays, and then I'll give out some teasers.
Okay, let's give out the let's make another spot here where I can put them up both on Twitter. Just give us both plays, and then we'll go over the background of why you like them. What's the next 2 plays?
Next 2 straight plays are Eagles -3.
Yep.
And the LA Chargers -2, and it went up to 2.5. So that's what I've played so far.
All right, let's go. Let's start with the Eagles. I also bet the Eagles here in Vegas at the South Point -110 this morning. That's funny. This morning I bet that.
Nice. Now and of course you have nice out there with the South Point. For anybody that doesn't know, they go -110 on all the lines, so they don't juice any of their spreads. That's Michael Gaughan's philosophy. Philadelphia is getting more healthy. The Giants are getting more injured. Big injury for the Giants. Offensive lineman Andrew Thomas, left tackle. You lose guys like that, that's tough on the offensive line. They might be getting back their good, really good rookie, banged up Malik Neighbors, or wide receiver, but I don't think that's going to be enough. I think this game's going to come down to the trenches here, and Philadelphia is going to dominate here on the offense and defensive line. Even though Philadelphia has been a headache team for most bettors this year, their coach makes kind of iffy decisions. I see the Philly having a big effort here and covering that road -3 spread, down from an opener of 5.
Yeah, Philadelphia last week, that final score, I think it was 20-16, or it was by 4 points. It probably wasn't. I look at the stats on that game. I didn't watch the game, but boy, Philadelphia dominated the Cleveland team. It doesn't look
watch that game, an all-time worst beat in the first half. Philly was going for a last-second field goal. Cleveland blocks the field goal and runs it back for their only touchdown of the game.
Oh, that was crazy.
I
was watching it.
And at halftime.
There you go. There you go.
I was watching it right here. It was crazy.
Where are you at there, John? Looks pretty nice.
I'm at Durango at the Sportsbook.
Oh yeah, that's a good one.
It's nice.
I've eaten that little cafe right there. You're right.
Yeah, it's good. Yeah,
it's good.
The George. Yeah.
Yeah, they don't take bets from me on the app. I don't know if I'll play at the counter. They don't like winners over there, but the winner is definitely the food. Chargers, you said versus Arizona. Is that what you said?
Yep, Monday Night Football. There's 2 games this week, Monday Night Football, which is, kind of nice. Some old traditional people don't like it. I don't mind it. It gives you a little bit more to bet on. I think, we're going to ride the streak here. We had the Chargers last week. This game looks a little short, being less than 3. I thought this should have been, in the 3 range, maybe even a little higher. The way the Chargers are another team, I think, that'll dominate on both the offensive and defensive lines here against a weaker Arizona defense. The LA Chargers have seen a mobile quarterback in Mahomes, and they contained him pretty well. They lost that game by 7. And this little guy Murray for Arizona could be a problem, but he's going to be without his wide receiver, probably without his wide receiver Marvin Harrison, a young rookie. So that can hurt the Cardinals in this spot. And like what I'm seeing out of this LA Charger team, a nice dominating win last week against the Denver Broncos, which was a game here in Colorado, and didn't see many Charger fans around. Usually when teams come into Denver, I've been seeing a lot of other teams' jersey, but didn't see hardly any Charger jerseys. So we'll see what happens here going forward with the Denver Broncos.
Okay, cool. And now, do you have some teasers or anything like that?
Yeah, I did tease the Saints up to 8.5 with a couple pairings, but little concerned with the injury report for that team. Still think plus 8.5 on a low total is okay using the teaser with them. I think I teased Buffalo down. I definitely teased Detroit up. I teased them up to 8.5, and still probably can get that at some of your different shops. And then there's a late game teaser. Kansas City, you can tease them up to 7.5, and the Pittsburgh Steelers for some reason are an underdog now because of this Devontae Adams news.
I mean, one guy that's moved the line 3 points.
Jeez. I think this is crazy. That's probably I'm gonna probably add to the straight bet here, but I'm just gonna wait for the line kind of, maybe even get to that +3 level. And because Russell Wilson might be making his first start, this line is jumping like that, but I favor Pittsburgh as a home dog here. So that's another good teaser option if you want to use it right now.
So you imagine you can use Kansas City in a teaser as an underdog. Just think about that. That'll be the only time this season, I'm sure, that app is listening.
Also, Andy Reid off a bye is like 18-2 or 18-3 lifetime. Crazy amount how good he is at preparing his team off buys. So anybody that's betting the 49ers, and I've heard some public opinion out there, or other radio guests, like like the 49ers in this spot. I just can't do it against Andy Reid in that situation.
Yeah, so you have some teaser opportunities with the Thursday night game. Kansas City, you said Kansas City and Pittsburgh. Was there another one? Did you put 4 teams in there? Detroit, did you say?
Detroit, yeah.
Detroit versus Minnesota
should be one of the good games of the week there, you know.
That's a funny line, isn't it?
Yeah.
What is the line? What is it?
Well, Minnesota's favorite for 1.5 or 2 was a major line move yesterday. It's kind of toggled back and forth. Circa opened up 2.5, so but they didn't open up first. Chris opened up -1.5. They're at 1.5 now. The game went down to 1 for a bit there. Pick -15 actually, back up to 2 at about 5 shops. The reason why it's funny, just looks like the letdown spot for an unbeaten team like Minnesota, who's home now playing the division rivals Detroit, who's looked pretty good. This is going to be a fun game. So I don't even like to tease when totals are this high, but I understand the teaser. You know, this total's around 51, but I do understand this going through the key numbers of 3 and 7, taking Detroit in this teaser here. Well, good. All right. So Randy, you got some nice plays. Now, Randy, I said something on a show yesterday. There's a new show that was the first week, Monday. I'm sorry, it was Monday. And I went on his show with him, Jim Feist. Feist. I went on Jim Feist's show. Boy, I'll tell you, I said it on the show. Jim knows a lot of things about the NFL. I mean, this is the legendary Jim Feist. I mean, this is the guy who had the first 900 numbers, but you know, he had a lot of shows on networks with these guys, and some of these guys I don't care for. Some of the guys, Jim knows that. I'm all about being real and giving out real records of being successful. I'm not saying Jim doesn't do that, but he might have had a couple guys on there that weren't the best in my opinion. But however, I really like Jim. He's 80-something years old now and legendary guy in the game, and he has such nice words for you. He literally came up to me and told me, "Tell Musburger I only give him money every month because of your show with Gil." That made me feel really good. That's what he said, and I didn't know who he was. He said, "I'm Jim Feist." That Jim Feist, I didn't know. I didn't know who Jim was, so I know the name.
Don DeMarco's, is that correct?
Yes, Don DeMarco's this week on Monday. It was also a live crowd, about 20 people. This week they're having on, I think Paul Bogey's on this week. Every week they're having a professional handicapper on, which I think is pretty cool. So I was on there with Al's brother, who wins in the NFL. His name is Mike, and Mike was tough on me one time, and I kind of went after him a little bit. I just not physically, of course, but I said, he thought that I was only one-dimensional. He thought, but we have settled that because now he knows, especially after the show, he knows. So I'm going to post the link to the show actually, because it was that good. It was
recorded, wasn't it?
Yes, it was recorded.
Okay.
And I'll tell you, the last 2 minutes, Jim had so much good stuff to say. I said, boy, I hope this is recorded. And throughout the show, I mean, I had people in the audience questioning, and Q&A was great. And I think it was a very spontaneous show. I had nothing prepared. I just went back and forth, and with Jim asking fantastic questions, the audience asking fantastic questions. So that was a fun time. And so it was an interesting time though about an NFL, the difference of betting NFL now compared to years ago. And this is before they had screens, and when they used to, we was talking about years ago when, you just have payphones outside the Stardust and the different sports books. I love that old time stuff. I kind of wish I was around back then in the early 90s, late 80s. Imagine being around the sports books. I mean, it was before my time of professional sports betting in the late 80s. The places, believe it or not, it took more money then than now. They took more money on college games then than now in 2024. It's sick.
Yeah, even in the late 90s when I started, there wasn't no sports line either, and there's a couple of them. But I used to just key the Golden Nugget Golden Nugget was in Laughlin, and then I would walk around to the other standalone books and see if there's any off ones. And boy, you used to find, point and a half, a lot of games, or, hockey. I used to track the goalies and used to have to go around town walking that whole lot. So I got some good exercise too back in that day.
Hey, Randy, I wanted to ask you something, and John's here to listen to this too. That's good. When you see these games on all these networks, and on the bottom of the screen, now let's say I'll use the the Sunday night game. So the Sunday night game this week is the Jets versus Pittsburgh. So let's say the Jets are winning by 7 points in the first quarter. It'll say the New York Jets have a 67% chance to win this game. Now, I wrote this down. I think it's all BS, all these things on the bottom of the screen. And this team has like 67% chance to win. I think it's all fluff, and it's there for one reason: to separate you from your money, to make you 100%. to induce live wagering, to induce more betting. And I'm talking about, it's not even sponsored on the bottom by a single sports book. Maybe there's commercials during the commercials they have. I just think it's all BS. I don't believe those percentages. I don't even believe most of the percentages when it says we have 85% of the money on this team. I don't even believe most of them. I don't even believe. Randy, what's your opinion?
Wait.
John first. John first.
I'm foaming at the mouth because I haven't been on the show for a couple of weeks, and I literally took a photo and a video of this exact thing during the baseball game a few weeks ago. Royals are playing whoever who knocked them out. What's wrong with me?
Yanks.
Cleveland. Royals are playing Cleveland. Yeah, Royals are playing Cleveland, and it was like no score in the 6th inning or something, and it said like Cleveland has a 68% chance to win this game, and I was like, this is nonsense. You don't know, like, what do you mean? There's no way you can determine that just off a no score. I was going to ask you this exact thing, what your opinion was on that.
Really?
Sorry,
That's unbelievable.
Yes.
It's unbelievable that we didn't even know. I just gave you my opinion. Randy, let's hear yours. What do you think?
Yeah, and ESPN does it a lot when they're televising their games because they want to, promote their ESPN app.
ESPN Bet, which is a sports book.
And they should also put a disclaimer here that hopefully they'll take over $100 bet from
that's right.
people, which
they don't do. I figured you were going to say something like that. Yeah. And they throw anyone out with a pulse. We know that. But then we don't want to pick on them. We're not alone. We're not alone there. But I see all these networks, not just ESPN to pick on them, but they're one of them that always put these things on the bottom of the screen, the percentage of win, and they should win. And you say, if they should win, let me go bet. Gee,
right.
I could bet live. If they're saying it's an 80% chance, let's bet that. Not thinking that you're paying tax to bet that because all the public's betting the same way too. So it is one. But that also leads us up to our great sponsor, heritagesports.eu. Been around for almost 30 years, and Heritage 108 juice on the sides. Instead of laying 110, you can lay 108 for every $100. Is saving a couple bucks. But in volume, throughout the course of the season, you could be saving a ton of money on juice. So, and plus they have a lot of promotions, a lot of bonuses. Go to heritagesports.eu for all of them. Guys, anything else you want to finish with? Are we good? Randy, we got all your winners? People are all banking on you. They're coming after you physically if, you got some losers here.
Yeah, week 7 NFL, it goes fast, people, enjoy it.
It does, doesn't it?
It just seemed like it just started, but now getting into the nitty gritty and hopefully keep the positive vibes and keep going forward and, get to Thanksgiving, then get to Christmas, and then get to the end of the season, get to the Super Bowl. So, it goes
Randy, the Jets picked up a big player to complement Mr. Rogers. Does that change the way you'll look at those games now, or does it? No.
Well, not so much here in the first week. We'll see if he's healthy. Of course, he's been out with this hamstring, probably a phantom injury, so he didn't have to play anymore for the Raiders. We'll see how they are. I just can't believe the line moved on this, like Crack and I discussed earlier, and off that, and then Russell Wilson starting. So we'll wait and see on him after the first week. But their offensive line has issues, and their defense gave up a ton of yards rushing the ball. Pittsburgh should their running back should eat up a lot of yards this coming up game.
So what Randy's actually saying is the opposite. And actually, we feel that it's such a public move and everyone knows about it, and people are now jumping on the Jets because of it. We actually would like to bet the other way. Anything like that, anything that's out there publicly, it's put out there by the influencers and the big guys on ESPN that get the last second breaking news. The public's going to jump on it right away. So the other side of the bet long term is probably the right way. So that's really the answer to that. Well, guys, we really appreciate you all coming on. Appreciate your comments. I try to get back to every one of you. And we appreciate you, John. We appreciate you making a rare appearance. And we look forward to you guys on Wise Kracks. And Randy McKay, thank you again. It's a really nice spot you have here every week with us. The audience, the viewers are loving it. And we'll see you guys next week on Wise Kracks.